boots of speed, you're gonna get honed. Um, yeah. So those are the couple mistakes that I saw this game, and I thought I'd mention them. The panda and the DK not TPing, and yes, he did have a TP, I checked. That's basically what loses the undead this game. Also, the fact that it's a little difficult to get on the offensive against an elf when they're kind of hiding in their base just because they have the advantage of the moon wall. And with their shop, they can actually create infinite amounts of moon juice. And if they have the moon wall upgraded, it's even worse. So, anywho, what was I saying? Other objectives against undead. Basically, when you get a creeping advantage, and you get a level 1 lich kill, which stalls them pretty badly, and they can't really level up their lich as much. And basically, if you stop their lich from getting level 2 for a while, and your panda's already hit level 3, you're pretty safe to expo, just because they can't actually push you without losing a bunch of gargs. Unless, as the undead player, you're way better than the elf player, which is entirely possible, but yeah, I thought I'd point that out. So, basically, when you have any kind of advantage against the undead, you should expo, just because you can outspam dryads, and it's a lot harder to kill a shitload of dryads than it is to kill a shitload of gargs, especially because dryads are a little more effective against heroes, and you can't nuke them. So that's why dryads own gargs. The only thing that you lose is the ability to harass, and you lose a little bit of mobility, which is why gargs are effective. So it's kind of like a win-lose thing. It's like tug-of-war, basically. And it just goes down to playstyle. Generally, as the undead, the way I play it is that I take out as many wisps of theirs as possible, and I do an earlier tech just to be able to do that. And I try and make sure that their lures don't go up, stuff like that. Obviously, the undead doesn't really have much in terms of, hero flexibility, because obviously they're going to go DK Lich. Some people will go the odd dragon. The elf, you can either do mass dryads with the DK and the panda, or you can go warden to bears and stuff, or you can go warden panda, you can go dark ranger. You have all these heroes that you can use, and basically if you have 2 lures, you can basically either go bears or dryads, and it really doesn't matter what you do. Well, it does, but I'm saying if you're controlling the way that the play is moving, which generally the undead does, by choosing ghouls or gargs or A-bombs, in terms of mid-game, and by ghouls I meant like a ghoul rush. Basically, they kind of set the mood in terms of what they're going to be doing, and it's up to you as the elf player just to be able to decide between your options which one would be more effective. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. That was a really risky staff pass. I am not going to lie, that is probably the riskiest move ever, just because he dropped the staff on the ground and passed the potion of invulnerability. So basically, he left the staff out in the open, which could have easily been jacked by the DK, especially because a lot of people at his level have huge APMs, so right-clicking on it by accident could have actually screwed him, because one of the heroes would have died. Anywho, let's see. Anything map-specific? I can't think of anything. Let's see. Patch-specific stuff. Dryads are a little less effective, so you're going to see a little less mass dryad use, at the pro level at least. So bears are going to be used a little more. So adapting your playstyle is going to be a biggie. I didn't really rely on dryads much last patch, so I don't have to change anything. But yeah. So really, what it comes down to is knowing your options against what the undead is doing. And it's pretty easy to figure out just by common sense, and I think I mentioned most of it in this audio anyways. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. But I can go to my PM box. Oh. Come on. The only time I go to my PM box at the end of an audio, it doesn't work. WCReplays.com/forum/private.php is not available. That's a lie. I know my PM box is available. It's like a drunken bar hag. Come on. Okay, well, instead I will just tell you guys the story about how I almost got arrested for grave robbing. It's not as bad as it sounds. So yes, this is story time. Anyways, hopefully I put a little intro there, unless you're just gonna hear a little blank area where I start laughing at the end. It was just the idea that went through my head, at least. So, alright, where should I start this story off? Let's just say I was in university at this point. I wasn't on summer vacation. I was at school. I was living in my apartment / living in a house with a few guys, and it was after class. It was about 7 p.m. and I'll just preface this story with a couple random things that will come in handy later. Across the road from where I live is an elementary school, and they had been doing some landscaping or something, some sort of child labor program. I'm not sure what it was, but they had a bunch of shovels and odd wheelbarrows and equipment for heavy use and stuff. And the next random fact is my school, well, my previous college is located, it's kind of at an odd area. There's like, and this will be from left to right, so like reading English. There's the river, a road, a couple houses, the school, a road, the graveyard. So that's how close the graveyard is to where I live. I'm actually like 2 blocks south-ish from the diagram. So yeah, I'm pretty close to both the river and that. Anywho, to the actual story now that you know, the background or whatever. It was after class, and it was about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, because I had one of those stupid late classes. Hooray for psychology. That's another story on its own. But, yeah, so I got out of class, and a couple of my housemates were like, yeah, we're making a beer run, do you want to come? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because they were having some sort of end of midterms kegger or something, and they couldn't get a keg, so they just had a bunch of alcohol bought. So we did that, and because we're lazy, we got a shopping cart, and we're wheeling this cart back, and